You're listening to AFN Wiesbaden the Eagle, serving America's best. Right now, I am sitting down with Staff Sgt. Dejamine Bryson, who is the NCOIC for United States Army, Europe and Africa, OJA. Welcome to the show, Sergeant Bryson.
Thank you for having me.
What is your favorite part about being a paralegal, and specifically being a paralegal in the Army?
Well, first and foremost, I think it's just the environment that the JAG Corps creates. The senior leaders that I've had, the NCOs that I've worked with, the attorneys that I've worked with, they've all been fantastic leaders, and they go out of their way to take care of soldiers, to make themselves available to help soldiers no matter what it is. But on top of that, it's just the constant learning. Like, I feel like every day I learn something new about how the law applies to the Army, how to keep commanders within the left and right limits, how to advocate for soldiers. It's just a constant learning experience that I don't know that I would have gotten in another career field.
Mm-hmm. And I know, too, that you're still on track to become an attorney, at least, or at least pursue further education in law. Can you explain a little bit about what the FLEP program is, or the FLEP program, and how that is helping you to reach your goals?
Right. So the FLEP program, or the Funded Legal Education Program, is basically green to gold, but for law school. So I came in with my bachelor's degree, and the FLEP program is going to pay for me to go to law school. At the end of law school, I will, or hopefully will, pass the bar exam, and then I will get a commission as a Judge Advocate General Corps attorney. The program selects about 25 enlisted and officers each year. I think for the last 2 years, there have only been 3 enlisted personnel selected. So it's a pretty competitive program, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this process works.
Yeah. I mean, only 25 folks from across the United States Army are selected. So what kind of work went into signing up for this program and really trying to take full advantage of it?
Like most things, I think there's a piece that requires a certain amount of networking. Like I said, the first year I did not get selected, and I think that's because at the time I was a drill sergeant. I was outside of the JAG Corps. People didn't really know, like, hey, what does she have to offer? Why would she, be good for this program? Besides the LSAT or the LSAT, the law school test, I think that was one of the bigger pieces to overcome, making sure I was studying for that, getting solid grades, or solid score, rather, for that piece.
Now, what do you think is the most challenging part of your experience going forward, and how much time are you expecting to spend in school?
So I will be in school for 3 years. I'll still be on active duty, but it'll be with assignment at Baylor University. So the only thing I'll have to worry about is law school. But I think what's going to be the most challenging part for me is being in my own head. Like, I'm one of those people that will catastrophize and think of all the worst case scenarios and overplan and become hyper vigilant, trying to make sure like the worst case doesn't happen. And then I never end up in the worst case scenario anyway. So I think it's just over planning and trying to like relax a little bit and just letting it come naturally to me. I mean, I've been out of school for 8 years, or formal education anyway, for 8 years. So it's kind of, I'm nervous about going back to school full time, but I'm excited.
When I first enrolled in school after enlisting, I was a little bit nervous about it because I was like, well, I haven't been in formal education now for a few years, and I feel kind of, I don't know, I feel kind of awkward about it. But I'm sure that going in full time is going to be a whole another challenge. But with challenges, how do you plan to overcome them, and what are some maybe tips or advice that you have for those who are also trying to pursue their education, or maybe who are trying to go into the FLEP program itself?
As far as overcoming those challenges, I think one of the best kept secrets in the Army is MRT. And that's not just because I'm MRT trained. It's like there are some great skills that come from MRT modules, and like how to avoid thinking traps and things like that. And I think the best way for me to overcome those challenges is to just like tap into some of that training and remember, like, anything worth having is worth working hard for, and remember like what I am, why I'm doing what I'm doing, trying to go forward. as far as people interested in the FLEP program or pursuing their education in general, I think you should just go for it.
Yeah, it seems like a really important thing is always making sure that you have that next step to take. Now, for you and your changing situation, both on the enlisted side, transitioning into hopefully the officer side of things, and changing your roles as far as being a paralegal versus being a judge advocate general. What are some of your goals now, and how have those kind of changed?
I really haven't reevaluated my career goals, honestly. Before I got selected, I'm going to be Regimental Command Sergeant Major Bryson. That's what I was shooting for. I was content with going to law school after I get out of the service, but being Regimental Sergeant Major is something that I wanted to do. And so now that I'm like crossing over to the dark side, quote unquote, it's new. I don't know what to expect. Right now, my main focus is passing law school, passing the bar, and just coming back, doing the best that I can. I think I have a little bit of time to reevaluate what I want as far as career goals. But right now, the priority is just making sure I can get the bar exam passed. So
now, as we wrap things up here, Sergeant, do you have anything else that you would like to add? Anything that you would like to share?
I think a lot of times we get comfortable in the military. We get comfortable with what we're doing. We get comfortable in our position, and we kind of get stagnant. Just don't let yourself get stagnant. When you realize that you're getting comfortable, think of what you can do to progress and push yourself a little bit farther, but just don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable being comfortable.
Well, Wiesbaden, you heard that. Don't get comfortable being comfortable. Always find some way to push yourself and find some way to help those around you. Well, Sergeant, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with us today. As always, I appreciate it. That was Staff Sergeant Dejamine Bryson, the NCOIC for United States Army, Europe and Africa, OJA. And you're listening to AFN Wiesbaden, the Eagle.
Serving America's best.